folks, my name is Janaki.
And this is Madame Bathsheba.
And together we are Catomancy Tarot. So welcome to a basket video. I haven't done one of these in quite some time, and I figured it was time to do a fall basket video. I've been enjoying some fall vibes, as we do, and the overall vibe I'm feeling right now for the fall is Hopepunk. I don't know about you guys, but things have been feeling really heavy, really grim. I'm having a hard time imagining futures, lots of futures for myself. And sometimes hope can be a difficult one. So I'm just trying to cultivate a little bit of hope. And you may or may not know, I'm a bit of a fantasy nerd, sci-fi nerd. And there's a subgenre called hope punk. And that's what I've been trying to cultivate. So let's get into it. I'll tell you a little bit more about how I've been interpreting Hopepunk, and the decks I've been using to kind of like help cultivate that. And some of the decks I've been using, I'm leaning into the fall vibes of it all a little bit. But I've been also the decks I'm going to show you. I've been working with things in pairs, so I have about a bunch of just like paired sets I'm going to take you through. We're going to start off with some like late summer decks, because up until recently it's been very warm in Michigan. And then we'll get into some fall things, and maybe we'll end with something a little spooky. And as always, stick around to the very end if you want to see a little collective reading on how to cultivate a little bit of hope. Here we go. So I thought I'd start just by talking a little bit about Hopepunk a little bit more broadly. So it kind of emerged recently in the sci-fi fantasy world as a reaction to grimdark fantasy. Grimdark fantasy is stuff like Game of Thrones. It's the like super nitty-gritty, very gruesome, very, guts all over the wall, very, if you think this story is going to end well, you haven't been paying attention kind of thing, where horrible things happen and continue to happen, and it kind of all of humanity's worst bits are kind of on display. And that was kind of like a really big, started by people like our dear Georgie Porgy here, who was like really reacting against kind of the whole Tolkien of it all, where and Tolkien is actually like OG hope punk, right? So hope punk is when things are hard and there's still trials and tribulations, but you push through it, and there's kind of community. And there's kind of like this like, yeah, maybe our planet is ending, but what are we gonna do about it? And what kind of friends are we gonna make along the way? Retroactively, Tolkien has been dubbed like hope punk. Hope punk is like Samwise Gamgee packing enough food and rationing food for the home journey. Like that's hope punk, right? And I guess for me personally right now, so for those of you who know me, I'm a graduate student in anthropology. I'm trying to finish up my dissertation, which is all about tarot, which is fun until you turn it into a dissertation, and then it becomes not fun at all. And I'm also currently on the academic job market, and if you know anything about the job market and the state of the field in anthropology, it's grim. It's really hard to get. Uh, you know, I'm in a place where I've been in. This is my 9th year of grad school, and I'm like seriously facing down the possibility that a career in academia might very well, first of all, not work out. Second of all, maybe like it might not even be what I wanted all along, and I didn't know. And so it's the kind of thing where I'm applying to a million different jobs, as many as I can, but not enough because there aren't enough And so we're kind of just like waiting to see what's gonna happen, and I'm having a really hard time just like keeping my hopes up, keeping my spirits up, thinking that, you know, I've put myself through this like ordeal of a PhD program, um, and uncertain about the ultimate outcome. So that's why I've been like feeling the need for some hope punk. So I've got my little star card here up on my altar. This is from the Black Madonna deck. So we've got our star card, which you know, very hope punk, all about hope. And then I also wanted to share with you guys that I recently got this piece of jewelry. You can see it's the star card from the Marseille deck. So I've been wearing this as my kind of like everyday talisman for hope a little bit. And I've been reading or listening to, so I can't show you because I'm an avid audiobook listener. I've been listening to things in the hope punk world. So things like Catherine Addison's The Goblin Emperor is very hope punk. I've been listening, or like um, you could say N.K. Jemisin's, like some of her work has been called hope punk, where it's still like really grim, but it's the possibility of just shaping new worlds. And then in the more in the science fiction world, things like uh, uh, you know, Becky Chambers stuff has been called very hope punk, as have like Andy Weir's books. So that's kind of some of the things that I've been like trying to bring into my life, to just like even imagine if like if the goal I've had for the past almost decade doesn't work out, just like feeling as though I could imagine a multitude of different possible lives for myself, and that's really hard to do. So, anyways, that's what's been going on in terms of like my vibes and hope punk and all of that. So now let's get into some decks. So the first pairing I'm going to show you um, has been very fun towards the end of the summer. This is the Mother Witch Oracle by Natasha Khan of Bat for Lashes. I've been really enjoying this deck a lot, and I've been using it with, this is the reprint of the Jupiter King Tarot by Tarot Collectibles, and I think it's a really fun pairing, and it gives me some of those kind of like they're both just very beautiful, and the guidebook for this is kind of very uplifting in the way that that you kind of need. And the colors in this deck are like wonderful and vibrant. And I kind of think that the illustration style goes like it's not a but this has just been like a really fun and this combination to me just like feels very nourishing. There's something about the Rider-Waite Smith that is just like old reliable, and this version is one that I've wanted for ages and ages and ages, and I finally got it through their Tarot Collectibles had a recent Indiegogo campaign. And you know, not all of the archetypes in this oracle deck are like super positive. Like we feel like Tornado Girl, but that still kind of resonates with like I'm feeling yeah, like this right here. We've got some major uncertainty. We're feeling like we really have to like defend our position and like stand up and fight for the things, and then everything is just like swept up in this whirlwind, um, and we're just like a little tornado girl out there in the world right now. And I've been really digging this combo. I don't know, what do you guys think? This has been I've done some readings for friends with this combo. And it also just feels like super super girlsy to me, like, you know, hanging out with the girls. Um, so that's this combination. So that's the first set of decks that I've just been feeling super hope punk about, and that's that. And then the next ones I'm gonna show you are also kind of more in the like late summer feeling, and I did make a recent video about these. This is the Anthropologist Tarot and the Color Vision Oracle. So if you want to see more, you can check out that video. I can link it below. So I found this creator. This is a Los Angeles deck creator. His name is Michael Burke. And he made this. He's based in LA. I do field work in Los Angeles. And I had to get it because I'm an anthropologist of tarot and I do field work there. So, like, it was kind of perfect. And this combo just feels like super vibey to me. I ended up edging this deck by just like continuing the swirls onto the side, and I really like how it came out. But this is kind of a digital collage, and it feels a little bit kind of futuristic to me. And I think there's something about, there's a lot of imagery in this deck where you take kind of like, you know, old statues, turn them neon, we've got some paint splatter, and so it feels like projecting ancient things into some kind of like digital future. And a lot of the like the colors and textures I just think are really well done and like very beautiful. And it feels like almost a little bit like cyberpunk, and I feel like cyberpunk has some overlap with just kind of like the sci-fi hope punk genre a little bit here. It is a pip deck, but it's kind of like I really enjoy it, and the pips are kind of well done, I think. Like in all of the swords, you get like lots of birds and butterflies, and it's been yeah, super vibey. And then I've been pairing that with, I think, the sort of like ultimate ultimate vibey deck, which is the Color Vision Oracle, which, you know, has been out for a while, but I picked it up kind of this this past August, and I was kind of using it for this sort of late summer feeling, and it does feel a little bit like an aura reading in a deck, which is fun. And I think they just kind of like go really, like, this deck, to be fair, could be paired with probably almost anything, but there's just like a vibrancy here. And vibrancy, as someone who is just feeling so extremely burnt out all of the time, it's nice to kind of like pick up things that I can kind of like get a little bit of energy and beauty from. And I'm on fellowship this semester, and I've got a lovely office at the Humanities Institute on campus, and I've got a little setup where I've been bringing these combos to my office and kind of like leaving out some my cards of the day just to add a little bit of like beauty and vibrancy to the space. And yeah, and this has been like a really fun one to explore for that kind of work. And like, some of them are just so pretty. They're really pretty. And yeah, the guidebook for the color oracle is also kind of very fun, and yeah, it's a good one. So that is that combo. So let me put all of this stuff away. All right, so the next pair I've got here is the Alchemy of Thoth and the Creativity Oracle by Amy Zerner and Monty Farber. I just made this pouch for this deck, and I think it's a perfect match. Check out my, I'll be showing a bunch of my tarot pouches in this video, and so this is a shameless plug. I think by the time this video goes up, I'll have a new restock in my Etsy shop. If you would like to purchase one of my pouches, please check them out. So here we have the pouch I made for the Creativity Oracle, and this was actually my biggest modification ever. So this is a kind of a mixed media fabric collage by Amy Zerner, and originally all of the keywords and the definitions were on the back, but I went ahead and I rebacked this deck in black contact paper, and then you'll see that I've actually stamped. I used a little lace doily to kind of gold stamp this image, this kind of like embroidered flower image on the backs. And then in a gold paint marker, I went ahead and gave the images my own titles. So here we have on the horns, we have the end is nigh. This one is cast off. So essentially, I kind of like super personalized this deck, which I had such a fun time doing. And I did it because this, I love her images. I think they're really beautiful. But I felt that the keywords didn't really match, and a lot of them were kind of like not super helpful, and I just wanted to kind of make it a lot more personable, or like personal. Here we have take heart, assume the stance, cast the spell, stuck in a rut, enrich your environment. So if you're interested in kind of in this deck and how I've modified it, I would recommend going and checking out. I have a whole video on that I'll share with you. But so I've made this deck just feel like super cozy and super, just super personal, and just, it was, originally called the Creativity Oracle. So it was a deck that I kind of tapped into to kind of inspire a little bit of creativity. And I've been having a fun time using it with the Alchemy of Thoth, which is a new collage Thoth deck by Annie Farrar. And I love this deck. I've been really enjoying using it, and I think it works really well with my new Creativity Oracle. I've also been seeing like this deck seems to have already garnered some haters, which I don't love. Like, I don't know, there's some people who really can't stand this deck, and I don't know, maybe it's because like people have really strong feelings about Thoth decks, and she's doing something a little bit different here, but I love this deck, so whatever, man. I don't know. But this combo just feels really textural. It feels like very rich, very inviting, and like kind of cozy even, and just like really beautiful. And I've been like using this combination a lot. So here we've got the Hierophant, spread your wings, and Two of Swords, and just the way kind of the textures kind of come together. just make me feel, I don't know, secure in a certain way. We've got Ace of Cups. This one's I've called Moon Things. You know, like moon things, like full moons and bubble baths and feeling your feelings and tides and, you know, menstruation. Moon things. Here we've got the Empress. This one I've called Side Quests. And then we've got the Prince of Wands. So, yeah, I've been having a really good time with these guys, and they feel like, they're both like, newer decks to my collection, but this feels like, they're already feeling like some of my favorite decks, which is like really fun and really exciting and something that, you know, uh, inspires a little bit of hope. Here we've got Swan Vibes Only. Um, so that's that combination. And so the next few sets of decks were so far we haven't really gotten super fall-y in terms of like vibes and aesthetics. But the next couple pairings I'm going to show you, we're gonna get into more of that fall stuff. So these are the next two decks. The tarot deck is the Yolanda Tarot, also known as the Swedish Witch Tarot, and this deck was out of mass market but out of print for quite some time, and it just got a reprint and re-release. It does have these like kind of larger, chunkier white borders instead of the purple ones, but I kind of really dig it. I've been really enjoying this one, and it feels, the illustration style is very, there's something that's a little bit like childlike to it, but there's still a bit of depth, like quite a bit of depth, and there's some things that do feel like kind of intense and kind of spooky and very esoteric about it. So I really like it for that reason. And it does feel like just like a really fun deck. And I've been pairing it with an oracle deck that is out of print. This is the Mercury, Salt, and Sulfur Oracle. She decided when she went to kind of reprint the tarot deck that goes along with it, that she would just like print I think it's like the Meloria version where it's like the tarot deck plus a bunch of the oracle. But earlier this year I was able to track down this copy, and because I love this tarot deck, but this deck didn't immediately click with me until recently. I stumbled upon this pairing, and I absolutely love this pairing, and I think they actually like read really well together, in addition to kind of just like looking really well together. And I also think it's like really good with the fall vibes. Here we've got Swiftness, Herbal Medicine, and Queen of Cups with all of these like cup-shaped flowers going up her dress. We've got some fronds here and fronds here. And yeah, there's still a lot of like kind of very, they're both very esoteric, and they both have these kind of like minimal color palettes, which I really enjoy. And they're also just a little bit like playful. There's a playfulness to it, which I think is very Hopepunk. Even though there's still like cruelty, we're facing our shadows. We've got the Alchemist over here, but we're we're still kind of exploring things. So I think this combination is really cute, and I really like the line work of it all. And some of it does feel like a little bit like it's starting to get a little bit, it's verging on spooky. It's kind of like a little dark fairy tale at times. So that's that combination, which I've been really happy with. And then the next combo, we're gonna get into her tarot deck, which I think is one of my favorite fall decks. So this is the Solara Ulto. This is I have the first edition that I was gifted second or third hand. And then instead of pairing her oracle deck with this deck, I think you totally could, and I think they are made to go together. You can see that they do work. But it's actually not my favorite pairing, even though it does work. You know, it's same artist, same idea. But my favorite deck to pair the Solara Ulto with is a deck by the French artist and deck creator. I'm not going to pronounce the French. I'm so sorry, but this is the Marvelous Medieval Oracle by we'll call her Gulliver of the Adventures. I don't know. So sorry about that. But this is a deck that the guidebook is in French, but you can with the powers of Google Translate. This deck is very accessible to non-French speakers, and this is like my cozy fantasy fall vibes. I love this combination so much. This is very cozy. This is a combination I've really been enjoying, and it does have those kind of like cozy fantasy bedtime story vibes while being firmly in a fall color palette. And I just love how they read together and how they look together. I'm a big fan of these like chunky goldenrod borders. And I'm really leaning into kind of the storybookness of it all. And there are, the illustration style really works, and it feels really warm and earthy. We've got our little witch with a remedy here. And I just love all of the kind of like the characters. And the way this tarot deck is drawn just gives me a lot of stuff to work with, and I really enjoy it all. And the textures, so this is probably the combination that feels the most fall to me. Here we have hope, and we have the game, and we have the Emperor. So maybe I'm playing a game of hope with the Emperor right now, right? Totally. That feels right. So that's that combination. I cannot recommend this deck enough. I love it so much. I think it's really great. It gives me a little bit of I know this is the time of year when everyone's been getting out their Seasons of the Witch decks, and this feels, I don't love the aesthetics of those, but I know a lot of people really love them. But for me, this hits like a similar spot, and I really enjoy it. And I recently picked up, you guys know the Broccoli magazine oracle decks. I've also recently just picked up, I had the seashell oracle, which felt very summer to me. But I picked up the mushroom for fall, and then their new crystal one. And so this is another way that I'm trying to bring some like seasonality in. This feels super fall. This one feels a little bit, we're going more into like jewel tones, so it could be like very maybe a little bit more winter, into like, I don't know, the winter jewel tones maybe, I don't know. So I'm thinking about using these as a way to kind of like touch in with the seasons. And when spring rolls around, I think I'm going to pick up their flower. So like their flower deck and seashell feels very summer spring, and these feel a little bit more fall and winter. So I feel like this mushroom oracle is another, this is probably the most fall of all of my decks. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And to go with it, I've been using it with a deck that I don't actually break out very often, but I've been really enjoying, and that's this one. This is the Celtic Tarot by Laura Tuan. It's also in French, and it's a weird deck, but this combination feels like walking in the, like going for a walk in the enchanted woods, and running into some fairies, running into some mushrooms, and it's just super vibey, and I think they just look really beautiful together. And so yeah, this I don't know, sometimes in the fall you just need to go, oh, look, I've got this upside down for you. Let's try that again. Yeah, like when you're going for a walk in the woods, you don't necessarily like know what you're gonna stumble across. But yeah, this just feels very much like taking a stroll in the enchanted woods. And kind of like encountering messages as you would on a walk a little bit. And one of the things about both of these decks that I think is really interesting is you can really tell that this Mushroom Oracle is their first Oracle deck, I think, because the guidebook isn't super great. I do feel like the keywords don't always like give me a lot necessarily, and sometimes the description in the book can feel just like a little bit out of left field. And then one thing that's kind of like very esoteric about this deck, and this is really the only like Celtic fairy type deck that I own, and because it's all in French, I don't really know what's going on all the time. But like here, I know this is the only way I know what's going on here is this little symbol here, which means this is the Wheel of Fortune. And then we get some like keywords in French in the upright and the reversed. And it's kind of one of those like old school fortune telling decks where the keywords don't necessarily like match up with the sort of inherited Rider-Waite-Smith definitions. So with this combination, I feel like you're walking through the woods, and then you just get, you're not really, you find a weird mushroom and a twig, and you don't really know what that means, but you enjoy it anyways. And so this, for me, this pairing isn't like a clear, like it doesn't have a clear voice, but it brings a little bit of beauty into the world, um, which is very appreciated. And they're so beautiful together, and I like it. It's like really vibey. It's not great, like it's not a good clear reading pairing. um, but that's okay. Like sometimes like to feel better, we just need to bring in a little beauty and like go for a walk in the woods, and that's what we need. Maybe say hello to the beings out there. So that's that pairing. The Mushroom Oracle and um, the Celtic Tarot. All right, up next, let's take a look at the Crystal Oracle. So this is Broccoli Magazine's newest Oracle deck. And I think it might be the most beautiful of the four. It feels very, very decadent. You can see there's a lot of kind of like deeper kind of jewel tones. Like, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I'm gonna keep that one aside for a sec. And I'm really digging it. Get it? Dig as in dig for gemstones. Again, with a lot of their decks, the kind of definitions and the way they're using, or like the keywords that come up for it, aren't really coming from a place of like this isn't most like gem and crystal decks and oracles have a lot of like the same types of associations, but this is kind of doing something a little bit different, which I do appreciate. But I think, if you already have like your own strong associations with some of these things, they might not necessarily match up. But I think it's a really really beautiful deck. So yeah, let's. I was trying to think of like what decks would go really well, and the thing that I do love about these broccoli mag decks is like they go really well with the Spolia Tarot, which is my favorite. But I also wanted to like find some things, some other decks that would work really well, and I found this one. This has been on my radar for a little bit. This is a Make Playing Cards deck by our very own Lennon Smith. This is the Noble Art Tarot, and it's one of these decks that uses, it's a found art deck that's drawing on images mainly from the pre-Raphaelite era. And so I think this deck is really well done. And so there's actually hold on a sec. There's actually like a ton of decks that use a lot of the similar art in it. And I was trying to decide between them. There's like, of course, there's the Tarot of Delphi. I think Lennon was kind of like inspired by that one to create, to put together this one. But I was also looking at like Persephone's Garden. There's the Beautiful Rebellion. There's also the Naked Truth Tarot, which I think I just saw on BB's channel. Pure Red Velvet. And then there's also like the Taroko Studios deck, like the Revival Art. There's like the Sacred Legacy Tarot. There's the Tarot of Aphrodite. And a lot of them are kind of using similar images. So like if you have more than one of those decks, it might even get confusing, because one creator might use the same image for like different cards. But I really like Lennon has like a real sensitivity as to like what images to pair for each of the archetypes, and I'm very happy with this. Like, I think this is my favorite version. Like, I love this Page of Cups so much, that kind of like bright vivid pink. It's very soft. I love the Six of Swords. Like, there's a lot of things that I feel she got like so right in this deck. Like, I love the Lady of Shalott for the Chariot. I love a watery chariot, you know? Um, so I'm really, really excited about this deck, and it's a deck that was on my radar for quite some time. But I finally pulled the trigger on it. Like, look at this magician. And one of the things that I really like about this deck, when I was looking at it in comparisons to the ones I just mentioned, is I just love the font. It's this kind of like really light, almost yellow greenish color, and I dig it. I really dig it. And I think it's really beautiful, and I love the tower, and I like there's a few cards that I think are just like really clever. Like, I love seeing the Hierophant from this perspective, where you have like the two kneeling figures. Um, and anyways, the one thing that for me personally, the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of in this deck is actually the backs. And I think the backs are like totally fine. But just for me, because the fronts are so painterly and so soft, having like a modern photographic image, even if it is of like, historical architecture, just brings me out of it a little bit. And so I've been like on the brink of rebacking this deck, and I've been thinking about it, and I'm not sure. So, I found this green marble, and I did one of the cards, and it turns out you can still see through to the architecture, but it just makes it a lot softer, and I kind of really am digging it, even though you can still kind of make it out a little bit. And it adds a little bit of like, it is gloss compared to, I think this is the Superior Smooth playing cards, but I might end up doing it. And this is the only card in the deck that for me, like, the image quality is just a little bit grainy, but that's the only card in the deck that I found had that issue. But I'm overall, this is all to say that yeah, this is a new deck that I got in kind of specifically to kind of work with some of the Broccoli magazine decks. Like, look at this strength. Isn't that so good? I I like it a lot. This Ten of Swords. This is me, like, most mornings. Like, you wake up to a host of emails, and you're still waiting to hear back from any responses, you know, uh, wondering if you're gonna have any kind of future at all. I don't know. Feels about right. Um, but yeah, I'm really enjoying working with this deck so far. So let's take a look, and I think it's a perfect companion to the Gem and Oracle deck. And here I pulled out these two just to show you, because these feel like they're completely in conversation with one another, and I think they're so beautiful. I think they're really beautiful. Here we are. uh we've got the Sculptor, the Chariot, the Ten of Swords, just there's kind of like a softness here that I really enjoy, and kind of like a richness that feels very fall to me. I love this Ace of Wands. I think that's great. There is, in some of the other decks I mentioned, I think I like the Ace of Swords in that one better than this one. It's got the kind of like someone kneeling being knighted, but anyways, it doesn't really matter. But I really like, I don't have a lot of this is my only tarot deck. One of my few tarot decks with like found with like curated art. And I've been really enjoying it. Yeah, here we have the Ace of Swords. We've got someone listening in, and I'm not sure if there's like a story behind that. But there's another image of someone getting like knighted that I think is really fun. But anyways, here, yeah, there's this like softness and like richness and also kind of like ethereal quality to all of these that just like it makes it feel very fantasy, or like you're just stepping into a little bit of enchantment. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful? I think she's so beautiful. Yeah. So good, right? This has been a really, really lovely, lovely combination. Like these people look like they're related, don't they? They totally hang out, you know? So do these women. Like, look at them. They're totally homies too. Yeah, really, really loving this combination. And like, look at this hermit. Isn't that such a good hermit? I'm obsessed. I really look like this 10 of cups though. It's really good. It's really good. Here we've got the 4 of Pentacles. We've got Pandora with her, newest unboxing. A lapidary. Oh, and this is another card that I think is so fun. These are the fates. So instead of the Wheel of Fortune, we have the 3 fates weaving. It's so good. There's just like her, I'm just like really into her choices. Like this 8 of Cups, this like we always just see a solitary figure, but there's something about like that she's leaving, and I don't know a lot of the stories behind the paintings, but it's just really good. And I've been, doesn't this have like a like late fall, super earthy, very jewel toned, like into kind of like into winter a little bit is what I've been feeling for this one. Oh man, aren't they so good? I'm like so stoked on this pairing. I'm really excited to see what you guys have to say about this one. Yeah. It's just so like it's so beautiful. What the heck? I love it. Yeah, so good. It just like, it makes me feel like I'm just like, ready to like, if all else fails, I can just go be a hermit in a castle somewhere and live my cozy craft life, and I'll be fine. It'll all be okay. So there's that pairing. So the last pairing I'm going to show you guys is my is my one nod to spooky season. And these are this is my favorite spooky deck. This is the Vertigo Tarot. And this made my top tarot runners up video. If you haven't seen that, you can check that out. And then here I've also got, this is the, who are you? what's your name? It's on Game Crafter. It's the Craft Decadence Oracle by La Green Witch. And I just think that these are so, I don't know, so tasty together. I think they go really well. And they're a little bit darker. They both have this kind of like there's these like deep purples going on. There's still like pops of these like jewel tone colors. But we get a little bit spooky with it. And so this is my spooky season combo. It's not like it's not super I don't know, Halloweeny, but it's dark, but still a little bit rich. Like here we have the Ace of Pentacles, Precious Apparition, and Sweet Autarky. Ooh, it does feel like this deck always feels like a little bit rich, a little bit indulgent. And yeah, a little bit dark. We've got some bats and pomegranates and eyes and things all tied up, and you know, a little bit spooky. Some snakes and devils and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, that's my spooky deck for fall. But this still feels like there's you know, there's still like hope to be found. There's like some like brightness. I don't know. Anyways, it's been those have been the decks that I've been really stoked on. And so now I'm gonna clean up a little bit, and we're just gonna draw some cards for the end of to end on a little collective reading for us. So I'm having trouble deciding which cards to use for our little reading, but I'll show you what I do. So for my little Hopepunk readings, it's important that these readings are like easy to do, and like because you just need, you need little bits to brighten your day. So I've been doing like 2 readings a day, and what I've been doing is like at work in the morning, first thing, I draw 3 cards from an oracle and a tarot, and I just let them sit on my desk all day. And then when I get home at night, I pull from another set that lives by my bedside table. I'll pull 3 cards. And 3 cards from each. And it's just a little, it's like quick, nothing special, just a little niblet of like, it's gonna be okay, kiddo. That's really all I'm looking for here. I love the way the backs look together. I love this deck so much. I almost included it in my like runners-up favorites, and I think it could easily go in there. It could easily be one of my like favorite decks. It's hard to come up with favorites. But anyways, let's take a look at what our message of hope is. We've got the Page of Pentacles. We've got the Empress. Ooh, and then we've got the 8 of Cups. And then let's take a look at what we have here. We have the Wheel of the Year. We've got the Queen Mother. And then we've also got this card. Let's see, who is this? Okay, I just had a little consultation, and this one is called Twinning. So this is a great little reading we've got here. So we've got, first of all, we've got our little page of pentacles holding up something, something found, something, turning your eyes towards, maybe it's a goal, maybe it's a project, maybe it's something you're working on. And it's in combination with this card, which is all about like the season of the year. So maybe, picking up something that you've harvested. We're in a harvest time. Maybe it's holding something that you've like managed to create um, uh, during this kind of like cycle. And then we've also got this figure maybe holding it up to the Empress here, the Queen. So we've got the Empress and the Queen Mother. So like big maternal energy going on here, which is feels lovely and comforting, and someone. So it feels like maybe someone's looking out for us, someone you can kind of like, um, uh, and these trees are kind of similar, so it feels like these figures are kind of like in the same scene. Um, so like giving something there. And then we've also the other card. So this feels kind of like a nourishing relationship. And then down here we have this card which is twinning. Uh, so it's about like having a fight with part of yourself instead of and the little booklet, the advice is to try and kind of like instead of finding a way to try and make yourself whole. And then we've got the Eight of Cups, which feels like maybe leaving a fight or leaving relationships that are combative rather than ones where there's this kind of like give and take going on. So that's a little bit of a flavor of just the kind of like really quick morning evening types of readings I've been doing for myself. Thank you all for sticking around. I hope you have a lovely rest of your fall, and I will see you guys soon. Bye for now.